Welcome to the Fort Myers Beach Good Neighbor Podcast. No shade, just sunshine, drama-free, positive vibes only. Each episode we bring you closer to the neighbors, local legends, and businesses that support the local community and make Fort Myers Beach the slice of paradise we all love. We want to send out some island love to State Insurance USA, Snug Harbor, Nervous Nellies, and the Alex King Group. They're the good neighbors and businesses that allow us to share the soul of our community with every listener. Pull up a beach chair, grab a drink, and let's meet the people who make this island feel like home. Here's your host, Cabo Jim Scheller.
15, 20?
Yeah, 15, 20 minutes. Yeah, like idea in there, but all right. You're on.
Great morning to everybody. Alex King here, Alex King Group with Premier Plus Realty with our weekly wild and wacky construction series on island building. And we have new hosts today, Mark Taglieri.
Justin O'Hara, Premier Plus Realty, Alex King Group.
Awesome.
So what are we talking about today, Alex? We're going new construction in Southwest Florida?
Absolutely. Especially, I think, on what the differences are building on an island versus like major communities.
Yeah, lots of challenges on an island like this, especially after recovery where things aren't set in stone. I think we're all coming up against that on a daily basis. I mean, there are challenges with every aspect of the planning. The first part is we have a lot of lots for sale.
Yep.
Second part is you have to design a home that fits different variety of lots. You know, you sell new construction out on big master plan developments where builders have specific product they're selling on specific types of lots. Nothing applies on an island like this. No two lots are the same, in my opinion, which is creating some super big challenges for everybody involved.
That's correct. We got 50 by 90. We got 50 by 100. We got 50 by 100 parallelograms on certain streets that they had to change the setbacks 2 years ago from 7.5 feet to 6.5 feet, just so we could get a house on it. And the builders actually went to the town council to educate them on the issue we had, and they were able to work that out. So these are some of the nuances on building on Fort Myers Beach for sure.
So true. And you even think about the cottage lots on the north end, 50 by 60, some of those lots, right?
Build by right? What does that mean?
No one knows, right? No one knows until you know. Kind of thing, right? You don't know until you take that first step. Justin, I talk about it all the time, right? You don't know until you take that first step into talking to a client that expresses interest on something. You can't understand everything on every lot, on every street on the island and what works. So you kind of wait and play catch sometimes, right? Wait till you get that client that wants something, then you go chase down the information, right? Which over time will work for us because then we'll all know. We talk to each other all the time in the office. We'll all know how we can help somebody best by that time. But that's where I see the challenges. So
yeah, and I think that our experience with these type of clients and these type of transactions certainly differentiates us from our colleagues that are off island. It's an imperative, I think, if you're a buyer, to use a beach agent who's familiar with these processes, experienced these processes. Case in point, the closing we just had yesterday, right? That was kind of not fraught with peril, but it was complicated, right? It was complicated. Why don't we talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, that was an interesting one. The team had an opportunity to bring in an investor coming in from Minnesota, very unfamiliar with, as far as time, boots on the ground on Fort Myers Beach, but really well-educated, experienced in the industry. Sophisticated mind that we got our hands on. Justin and I took it on for the team, and we were able to work with him to figure out what his wants, needs were, what his objectives were on the investment side, and then go off market and go to landowners that did not have their property on the market and find him something that worked for him. And really it ended up being, to me, it's one of the best deals we've put together as a team, because you had Alex and Rita involved, you had Mark and Justin involved, and we found something off market that worked, where 4 agents get a piece of a deal, which we're all in it for. and we have a happy customer. This guy's over the moon. He sent us a picture yesterday.
Thrilled.
He's got his deed in a framed thing on the table
There
with a
you
bottle
go.
of Rodney Strong
Mhm.
Cabernet sitting next to it. He sent us a picture of that yesterday. So a feel good story.
Yeah.
I think that's really a good point here, that full-time professional realtors specializing in island building, but also the synergy of the team. We average around 50% on the buyer side on our listings. So working together, 4 realtors or 2 realtors is also fraught with peril sometimes, but we're able to really work together synergistically as a team. And I think that is something so unique we have to offer. No one even has that. And we even hear it from our clients. I've never seen realtors work together like this. So keep that in mind.
My new line with all the listings we have is
Yeah.
stand on Estero Boulevard and spin in a 360-degree circle and tell me if you don't see a sign that says Alex King Group
There you go.
on this island.
That's it.
Right?
Teamwork
So
makes,
us.
makes the dream work,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Since we're talking about buyers, I'm going to throw this out to you. Are today's buyers primarily end users, investors, or looking for a second home purchase?
Well, all 3, because every
Good answer.
area of the island is
That's the answer. That's the answer, right? Yeah.
well, the island is so different from one section to another. It's divided basically in about 5 sections from real estate purposes, but even from geolocation purposes. How would you guys answer that?
I just quick thought. Got an investor mindset looking for a rehab on the island. Met with 2 builders, a husband and wife builder team out of South Carolina the other day. Drove from Bowditch up to just north of Publix, showing them lots and
Mhm.
examples of new builds because they want to come in and build one for themselves
Mhm.
and one as an investment property. And the lack of education that they had, they're a perfect topic for this because they didn't know the first thing about the setbacks, about the requirements, about the difficulties navigating the permitting process and all that stuff. Had they been, to your point, Justin, had they not been with a beach agent, no good, no bueno, as they say, right?
No
Yeah.
bueno.
No bueno.
I mean, would you say,
I know you have a line for what he just said.
go for
We're
it,
going to get you
Which
what?
one?
We're going to get a client a what?
master's degree on Fort Myers Beach. No handcuffs, just education. Doesn't matter if you're going to buy tomorrow or 5 years from now. Our primary goal is to get you educated. And that's what happened there. They called on Saturday night. And I said, let's get you, they're leaving Sunday afternoon. Let's get you educated before you leave town. Bam. You do it all the time.
Yeah, look, I think that's what makes us really unique compared to our colleagues off the beach also, where, of course, we're focused on selling real estate. That's how we make a living. That's how we feed our families. That's how we send our kids to college. However, I think we're a little different and our approach is different, right?
Mhm.
We educate clients. We teach
Mhm.
them about the beach. We teach them what they can buy, what they
Mhm.
can build. We show them the lifestyle. We immerse them in the experience of the beach and then let them make that decision, right?
Mhm.
And then we guide them through the process.
Mhm.
With that said, what property class do you think is seeing the most activity right now on the beach?
Great
Condos, land, lot, elevated,
When I look
ranch.
back over the last, I came and shifted over to the team in September. We've seen a lot of condos come online,
question.
ton of condos come
Mhm.
online. I still just think it's so diverse that I don't feel like I have anything leaning in more in one direction. Alex might have better insight. He handles more deals in one direction or the other, to be honest. I think it's always going to be like that. There's such variety in the product.
Mhm.
Again, I go back to my experience all those years in production.
Mhm.
This is the product. You want it or you don't,
Yeah.
right? There's different sizes of houses you could buy, but it's all for the same reason, right? You buy a 1,400 square foot house or a 4,000 square foot house, you all get the same amenities, you all get the same location, you all get that. On this island, there's so much diversity that I think it's going to be like that forever.
And we're starting to see the higher price buyers come into market.
This is-
And this is critical because they're going to be the driving force for the Gulf front. the high-end restaurants that the restaurateurs want to build. And we can see that with 730 Matanzas, 673 Estero, 433 Palermo, 290 Estrelita, 3420 Estero, and 8088 Estero. So those are all over $3 million, all sold in the past year, and 5 of 6 of them we represent buyer, seller of both sides. As a matter of fact, on the north end is a tremendous area where people come in, and we're starting to see the product go under contract and pending. Case in point, 730 Matanzas. And how emotional was that for the seller to let go of that property?
Yeah, it was difficult. Yeah, it was difficult, but I think in the end he's happy.
That's the key. Yep.
So hey, we started the conversation.
You worked for that one, didn't you?
I did, yeah. We started off the conversation, in new construction, and I want to circle back. It's like one of the biggest things I hear when I talk to people about new construction. The first questions over a 30670, right? What's my insurance look like, right? What's the risk, and what does the lender look like, right? What is the landscape on borrowing? What's the landscape on insurance for new construction? How does that work? It's the biggest thing, right? Everyone hears Florida market. You can't get insurance. You can't get a loan. We know that's not true, right? Let's tell the people.
I think the first thing, like how many times you call another agent and they don't have the insurance number. Right. They don't have the flood. They don't have the homeowners. They don't know the number. They got to go track it down from their.
Meanwhile,
person, right?
We have the transferable flood certificate teed up and ready to go.
And how many agents don't even know? Right. They're coming off island. They're not talking flood. Where I worked all those years, nobody's talking flood. You're 30 feet above sea level. You're up in the hills of Florida. Yeah. Right. 30 feet above sea level. Yeah. And you come down here and you have to talk flood insurance. And fortunately for me, I own on the island, so. I'm familiar with it, but if you're an agent coming from Estero, Bonita, and that's all you work, and you're bringing somebody, you don't have the first clue what you need right there. So and that's a good thing, that you bring up there with the insurance.
I'll tell you what, the first house that you put me on, my first closing, I closed it with 2 open flood insurance claims, and nobody knew if that was a thing or not. If we could close, we did.
Yeah. Was it cash or was it cash?
No.
And there are banks that'll do it.
The seller received his, and the seller got paid. He got his flood insurance. Yeah, it was crazy, right? That's another one of those unique to the beach transactions that would never happen off the beach at all.
There's always a path forward, right? Like people give up on deals all the time. And if you give up early on a deal, it's easy you're in the inspection period. You got financing period, 30 days, right? So right now I'm working a deal. I got a 10-day appraisal period. I got a 10-day inspection period. I got it overlapping. I got a 30-day financing contingency. They're all running concurrently. This buyer can walk away at any point.
Yeah.
Right. And
that's a fun deal.
But those really exist on most deals. Maybe not the appraisal contingency, right? But that's kind of part of the finance contingency anyway, if they don't get approved within the 30 days. And there's so many things that can go wrong. And if you're going to just give up and lay down and fold as an agent, as a seller or buyer, or on either side, I mean, you're going to lose more deals than you realize. You're going to look back on 12 months and say, there were 5 other deals I had on the table that just went by the wayside. So I always had this thing when I was managing in the other world with the builders, like everything is fixable, right?
Right.
Just keep the deal moving forward. I know you believe that. I mean,
100%.
I remember doing a deal with you before I came on the team at 5583, and it was just like, I could sense from you that your mindset was, I remember it. I remembered everything will work out. Keep the deal moving forward.
That was one of the first things you told me.
Yeah, without
I remembered, right?
We both had the same
real estate, it generally works itself out.
There you go. And it doesn't mean you lay down and don't do anything, right? We communicate.
You gotta work for it.
Alex and I communicate. That's still one of the top number deals that, well, we did a lot.
Absolutely.
And then I did the build after that. But I mean, that's everything's fixable. Got to keep it moving forward.
What do the lenders think about the beach? What's our experience with that?
Well, a lot of folks have lenders in other states, and they want to use them. they might have a branch that has a Florida license so they can lend here. We always work with the buyers to at least get a local lender involved. We have them from community banks to standard banks to mortgage companies, you name it, we have it local here. But time after again, it comes down to the end of finance period, and all of a sudden the corporate approval department in Illinois, oh, this is on an island? Oh, we don't loan there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So we know it. We've been through it. We always have a backup plan. So we have the local lenders in place. So we're going to get you to the finish line every time.
Have you seen any issues as far as appraisals go with the properties? For these lenders, right? Have you had to deal with that?
I think we're all dealing with that in various ways. We've had quite a few newer properties being built by builders, and they're moving their inventory at a discounted price instead of more towards the rack or market rate that we prefer. So that makes it tough on appraisals. It takes a lot of work. Do you find that you're always seems to be challenging the appraisal and helping get them educated with comps or different parts of the island where properties are that they weren't using?
I spoke to a team agent recently about an appraisal issue they had, and we were already navigating the one we had on 71 Miramar. And I think
Talk about that.
A lot of agents. So first, there was an error on the part of the bank in the request and the directions for the appraisal.
But that's unique to where we are,
it's unique,
because it's
right?
a knockdown home on the lot, right? So it's like we need to explain that to the bank again, like another level that we have to go deeper with our trusted partners, whether it's the bank, the appraiser, the insurance company, to explain exactly what we're doing down here and the conditions of the situation. Right?
In that instance, is it a knockdown? So is the bank lending the money to a person understanding that it's a knockdown? So it's more of a land purchase, even though there's a structure involved there, which affects the appraisal number, which affects the amount they can borrow, which affects whether or not they want to move forward. Because if they got to come up with another $300,000-400,000 grand, they may not want to move forward, right? If they're trying to leverage the property. So that's an example of one that we've been through recently, and a lot of agents, and it's going to be more important here. There are no appraisal issues out east, right?
No.
Which is where I've been doing a lot of my work right now. It seems out east, I'm not running into these issues, right? They run into issues with that when the market really goes down, and it trails probably 6 months. But right now, those issues are going to be here, and agents don't understand that they have the ability to go directly to the appraiser and give them assistance and find comps that can work. There's nothing illegal about that. You can communicate with the appraiser. Now, the rep from the bank can't put it in front of them, and the owner can't talk to them, but you can act as a conduit to the important information to get that number.
Right, and we're just presenting them facts.
Yes, facts. These are the closings we think.
Yeah,
work.
This is our opinion.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
kind of thing. So it was great. It was a lot of teamwork went into that. We were able to overcome it. We got it done, and everybody's happy on all fronts. What are you looking for there, Jo?
I want to go with the elephant in the room here and talk to you guys.
That's what. Let's do it.
Let's do it. All right.
Let's juice this podcast up.
Yeah, let's juice it up. Right? We might not make some friends with this, but I'm going to go there. All right. Permitting and local government. It's the elephant in the room. It's something we deal with all the time. It's the obstacle that we face on both new construction and resale, and the questions are boundless, whether or not it's I have to take out my newly installed flood panels that I paid $40,000 for on my ranch home because all of a sudden they had to have a permit when they didn't have to have a permit. That's a local government challenge. I feel like there's a lot of hurdles, right? I think it needs to be talked about.
Mhm.
And I think it needs to be talked about in the sense that, again, emphasizing the importance of a local agent who can navigate you through this and has the personal contacts in the permitting office, in the local government, and has the experience to be able to answer these questions. Any real world examples, but look, it's a thing, right? It's a thing.
Mhm. Well, especially even in just the drainage, just getting the storm and drainage site plan finalized takes time.
Pervious versus impervious.
Impervious,
Please
impervious
talk about
ratio.
that. Yeah.
Drainage planes.
Drainage planes, and also they changed staff maybe 3 or 4 times in the past 12 months in the
You think that's it?
FEMA drainage. But if otherwise, well,
Maybe in 36 months they changed more. But
woo! Yeah, so it's a challenge. Now, are you going to do a swell, or are you going to bury a drainage pipe?
Right.
And when do you do that? And how do you navigate that when it's been sitting in permitting and nothing's happened in 60 days or 30 days? Who do you call? Well, we know who to call. We know we can walk in there. We can nudge. We can work solutions out. I cannot tell you how many times we've walked over the permitting. Hey guys, I got Betty up north. She's got a situation here. They come out, they sit down, we look at it, we get it on the phone, we solve the problem right then and there. But Mark,
I think there's two sides to this story all the time on this, right?
Mhm.
It's never going as well as you think it is, and it's never as bad as it is either, right?
Yeah.
And my personal experience with, when I brought my house back was it's the owner's responsibility or the builder representative of them to give the town the information they want, the way they want it, package it, and hand it over, right? And the better you are at that, or if you're a builder, your team is at that,
Mhm.
the faster the permit's going to come back to you.
Right.
I know 10 of the builders that are operating on here, and I got a good buddy of mine that they're putting in their first permit now,
Mhm.
and I keep riding them that he's not going to have everything in there. It's going to get kicked back. And I'm waiting for it because he's going to submit any day.
Yeah.
I won't say their name, but
Mhm.
and I'm curious to see what happens
Sure.
with that, right? Because something gets missed along the way, it gets pushed back. Now you're delayed 2 weeks.
Mhm.
You do that 4 times, you're 8 weeks. That's 2 months, right? So
Mhm.
give the town what they want, the way they want it, on their forms, not your forms, and submit it as a complete package.
That's it.
Then you're gonna, you're bound to speed up your process and complain less, right? If you're chasing this form, that form, and one is for electrical, one is for plumbing, one is for drainage plane, and you're chasing all these different
Mhm.
things at different times, that's accumulating over
Yeah.
the process.
I mean, and another one is a lot of our houses were built way back before the setbacks were in place. Case in point, we're now seeing a lot of houses get elevated. Okay, so the setbacks are 7.5 from each side on the standard size lot, but it's 6.2 on this side and 4.5 on this side. So
Are they making people shift those?
yeah, you move the whole house.
Is that actually what
No.
is happening?
No,
I mean, I've seen that at the Jersey Shore where they lifted it and then they had to shift it to get it into the new setbacks. Thankfully, they're not doing that.
well, see, no, that's a great question. I was a little worried.
You need to move your house 10 feet.
Well, I'm from some point. I'm raising mine up, but there is an administrative variance, and so as long as you're not modifying the structure to add more square footage or something like that into that setback area, you get an administrative variance. Like, for example, I was expanding my deck right over there. I said, yeah, I want an expanded deck right there. No, you can't do that. You have to work within this current setback. So therefore, we moved the deck on this side, not an administrative variance. But we know how to work with the people then. That's just a small example.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
My advice, if you're going to the permitting office of the town hall,
Mhm.
by the way, this is a shameless product placement. Bring a box of donuts and a box of Joe.
There you
It works
go.
every time.
There you go. So
I've got one more question.
Mhm.
This is the new construction question, and then we'll just talk about some vision and First time buyer, Fort Myers Beach. What's the most important first step for construction, new construction? We have a buyer looking at a lot. They come in, they say, I don't know anything about here. What's the first step?
I just did it. The tour. It's got to be a tour for me.
Mhm.
I don't want to get in bed with a client that doesn't know it without me being their tour guide that first day. And I started at Bowditch, and I went. I knew their purposes, so I didn't take them all the way down the south end,
Mhm.
right? Because I know what they're looking for a little bit. But just to be able to, they walked away grateful for the time that we spent with them. Alex brought them in on the front end, connected with them, and the time that I spent with them on that. But to educate somebody on the activities, the restaurants, the nightlife, in addition to the daily rentals versus weekly rentals versus monthly rentals,
Mhm.
and through that time be able to prove yourself in being educated with the builders, having relationships with the builders, having relationships with the town members. That's that windshield time that you're in a car with people in there is priceless. Right? That to me is the first step when you come across a new person.
Now you can't want to buy on the beach without some lifestyle. And the beach has events going on every weekend. Now Justin says you're not going to do this. I said yes. He said no. We're professional realtors. We got to have some status quos. I've got to do it.
Do what you got to do, Alex.
Do what I got to do.
You know what?
Yep.
The people expect it, right?
Yep. Shrimp Festival's this weekend. We're the main sponsor. We love the island. So make sure you get your hat. There you go. And don't post this in all the papers, okay? All right, guys.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great segue. Last question, because I got to ask you this. And this one, well, you both live on the beach, right? So it's for both of you. I want to hear, we all know I don't live on the beach. I live up the McGregor corridor. I got 2 kids in school in downtown Fort Myers. What excites you most about the future of the island?
I just love seeing all the new construction. I see that it's bringing life. Every time I see a new house going up, I know what 5 and 8 years and 10 years is going to look like. And you know what? I mean, that's why we're here. I mean, I did the opposite of what a lot of people did.
Mhm.
I moved on to the island after Ian, because I know what the potential is, and being here and getting involved. There's a lot of good people on this island.
I would say the excitement I'm hearing from visitors came a year ago, 2 years ago, and they're going, oh my gosh, this is a different place. It's alive. It is alive, folks.
It is.
Come and experience it. Reach out
It's true.
to Justin, Mark, myself, Alex King Group,
And you know what?
Northwest Realty. Yes,
We
sir.
would have never met Cabo Jim either if we weren't on this island.
There you go. Cabo
There you go.
Jim.
Thanks, guys.
That's
Great,
right.
guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Tuning into the Fort Myers Beach Good Neighbor podcast. No shade, just sunshine, drama-free, positive vibes only. If you loved what you heard, share it with a friend and keep the good vibes going. Until next time, remember to Cabo until you wabo and keep being a good neighbor. Also, to nominate your favorite neighbors, local legends, heroes, or local businesses to be on the show, go to fmbgoodneighbor.com. That's fmbgoodneighbor.com, or call 239-427-4100. We want to send out some island love to State Insurance USA, Snug Harbor, Nervous Nellies, and the Alex King Group. They're the good neighbors and businesses that allow us to share the soul of our community with every listener. Here's to celebrating all that makes Fort Myers Beach the slice of paradise we all love.